There we go. Let's fucking do it. Alright. What we got a drink here?
A little energy drink, you know?
The Celsius.
Yeah, I took this from work. I was gonna hit the gym after this. And also too, I wanna say like high energy, high caffeinated before this, you know?
I was actually just talking to someone about that. Apparently that thing, like, Celsius is a good energy drink, but it like makes you shit or something.
Yeah, I feel like all caffeine kind of like pushes like through your system.
Yeah.
So if I have to leave, you know, pardon me. But Celsius aren't good. They're definitely not good for you, but I do like a little caffeine in my day.
I gotcha. But welcome to Mastermind. Fuck. Gotta make sure you're in frame and all that.
Oh yeah.
Welcome to Master Memories, the podcast where our friends talk about their lives. Today on October 23rd, 2022, I'm here with Shivam, how do you pronounce your name? Madhavan, okay. Shivam Madhavan Chandran, a.k.a. Shivamode, a.k.a. Shiv, a.k.a. Any other nicknames I missed?
Third grade, a big one for me was Shivy Wonder for the blind musician Stevie Wonder.
Mm-hmm.
That one kind of dropped off as I got older, but that was a common one back in the day.
Were you nice on the keyboard like that or something?
I mean, I remember I was playing Knockout. This was in elementary school. I was playing Knockout, and this was when I was like first starting getting into basketball. And like, even though my jump shot was super broken, like I was going in, people were hyping me up, and they were like Shivy Wonder, and then it kind of stuck. And then like my rec basketball jersey, I put Shivy Wonder on the back. It was a good era.
Dude, rec basketball jerseys, I feel like no one ever puts their actual name. It's always just some.
Oh, for sure.
It's amazing.
Dude, I was so close to putting like the name of like, I was so close putting Jordan on the back and then making my number 23. But looking back on it, I'm glad I did actually something that related to my name.
No, that would have been hilarious. I'm not gonna lie.
If little fifth grade me, I had a little basketball card from it. I don't know where it went, but I was hoping to sell that on eBay for some money one day.
Yeah. I'm sure a little Shivy Wonder basketball card's gonna go for so much money, let me tell you.
I was hoping it would be, you know, it'd be like, oh shit, like he's in the NBA now and he was playing rec basketball back in 5th grade, but you know, maybe someone will still want it after just me being a finance major at Ohio State.
I don't know, I mean those guys do kind of ball out.
Exactly. You lived with enough Fisher kids, you get it.
What's your first memory of me and you?
Definitely had to have been early on. You're definitely one of like the first people I probably met at Ohio State, just given like I joined AK Psi. Within like 3 weeks of coming to college, I got really close with like Shannon and Hudson. So probably the first, I don't have a distinct memory, but it'd probably be some drunken like dap up. But then like we definitely would chill together and like Bowen and stuff. So I remember that. I'm not sure if you remember, but I remember it was one night we all like stayed in Hudson and Adam's room and just watched hella Rick and Morty. And then it was like we like packed like 10 dudes in there, and that was a good freshman year memory.
Forgot about that. Yeah, you were like one of the first AK Psi people I met that like when y'all were pledging and like just, cause I remember like, you know, not seeing Hudson or Shannon for like spurts and then all of a sudden be like, your entire PC would be over and she was goofy on that shit.
I feel like I have a weird memory in terms of like, I can remember very specific things like just like random nights out. Like I'd have a distinct memory of the first time I ever met Badzig. I wish I had that for you, but I remember the first time I ever met Badzig.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in college, I drank and just everything away my brains. Like I got dumber in college. I'm not gonna lie.
See, everyone always says that. I feel like I definitely got smarter. I feel like I was like book smarter in high school. Like I mean, like I like graduated with honors and stuff at Ohio State, so I wasn't like book dumb. But like I feel like I just like learned a lot more about like the world and like how to like operate as like an independent human being. Like going into freshman year of college, like I was like probably like one of the most least like independent people. Like didn't know how to really do anything for myself. And then like now, like I look at myself like fully living. Like I have a roommate, but like living on my own. Like you know, like cooking, doing like kind of like operating, like being financially independent. So.
Yeah. So like college more try you like street smarts and soft skills and things like that, you say?
For sure. Like dude, I didn't know how to cook until like junior year. And that's like a big part of my life, dude. Yeah. Like I'm talking like not even like eggs and stuff. Like the first few weeks of living in the Dosh, it was like teaching me how to do very basic things. I'm not like a gourmet chef now, but like I can get by. Like I'd feel comfortable. Like if you were like, hey, like can you make me dinner? Like I'd feel comfortable. Like I can make us like a decent, healthy enough dinner that like it wouldn't taste that bad. You know?
Yeah. I had a mom and sisters that growing up that like loved to cook, and like I kind of picked it up off them. I didn't realize until college like how many people like I taught Adam how to use a stove. Like
I've heard the Vatican cooking rankings, and that was a popular consensus that Adam's towards the bottom. No offense, bro, if you're watching this.
No, he knows. I mean, he would have. You remember our double-decker microwave?
Yeah.
What he would do is he put microwave cup mac and cheese in one, and then one in the other, and then they'd like be like separated by a second, and then they go like, beep, like the one would start beeping, and the other started beeping, and go beep 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 beep. It was from hell. That sound, I swear.
And you always knew who it was too.
Yeah.
Who it was using the microwave.
Because no one else is out using 2 microwaves for 2 separate cups of mac and cheese.
You guys seem to have some pretty good cooks. Like I know you chef it up a good amount, and then like Badzik obviously cooks a lot. Hudson would say you cook a lot too. So the house, I'm sure everyone's probably cooking a little bit better now that they're out of that kitchen.
Yeah.
But you know, you guys had some good chefs there.
I think the biggest quandary for me was Evan. Of like, I know he can cook, and like I've seen him cook, but like that man just DoorDash.
Yeah, he was the reason why I knew what Dash Pass was. I'd never heard of it until him, and then because like he would use it so often, which like I don't know, it saves you a lot of money, but
Oh, he should be a sponsor, honestly. Like,
yeah.
man is a walking promotion for it.
Hell yeah, I mean you get your money's worth, it makes things cheaper, you know. It's
Exactly.
super nice.
What were you doing today before we started filming?
I woke up pretty late, which is good. My body has been needing some rest recently, so I woke up pretty late, woke up feeling like refreshed and good, which was needed. And then called my old roommate, or not my current roommate. I haven't seen him in like 2 weeks, so it's been a minute. So I called him up, talked to him and my other friend Dom, and then ate some breakfast, hung out with my friend and got boba tea, dropped her off, and here we are.
There you go.
So it's been kind of like a lazy Sunday, but also productive at the same time. But exactly what I needed. I think it's been a good day so far.
Yeah, I feel like the adult Sunday scaries versus the college Sunday scaries are so much different.
So much different. I mean, I also try not to like drink that much now, like that we're in like the adult world.
Yeah.
Because also like the Sunday scaries are just literally like mortifying. Like dude, after homecoming weekend, I was like, holy crap, I'm glad this is not like my every weekend reality.
Because it's just like, on Sunday it was like, oh, I got like all this homework to do, and like, you know, maybe
Yeah.
studying or whatever, and I was like, responsibilities.
Yeah, now it's like I need to clean. Like I need to make sure like, you know, like to make sure the bills are paid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is like honestly like I prefer that more than like just trying to like do my busy work assignments so I can get a grade and then just like until the cycle repeats itself next weekend, you know?
No, I agree. I was talking with the ATO at Alumni Block this week.
Yeah.
I don't know why this week instead of last week, but I think they fucked it up, whatever.
Hey, twice you got to go to Camelot then on the other weekend too, so I guess it worked out better. Then you didn't have to bounce around.
Yeah, I'm happy to see half a group of old men for ATO, and then the full group of old men and women for AKSI, and then the other half of the old men for ATO again. But now he was talking about how like he just doesn't drink on a Saturday anymore, just because like Sundays like is just he's prepping for work and like doing like all this shit, and like I can't like spend that day recovering.
Yeah, dude, it's like Sundays now, like I enjoy so much more because like I would go hard on Saturdays, and then it's like Sundays I would literally sit there and like, dude, I'm such a bitch when it comes to being hungover.
Yeah.
Like physically I'm destroyed, like mentally like I get really bad anxiety, so I'm like literally on the couch just like sweating and just like not doing well. And then like I would eat like shit, I wouldn't go to the gym, and then that's just like a waste of a day, you know? So I very much enjoy my Sundays now that like they're just like productive and good. Like before I left on my trip, the last Sunday before homecoming, which I spent just like hungover as shit.
Yeah.
Me and Mike, my roommate, we went on like a 6-mile walk, just like all throughout Columbus, and then we came back and like made lunch together and watched football all day, and I did like my laundry and stuff, and I was like, this is great. Like
Yeah.
it was just like a feeling of like almost like a euphoric feeling, you know, how good I felt.
Yeah, I think that like as great as it is to just be recovering and trying to like do whatever on Sunday and catch up, it is also nice to like be productive and like look around and be like, damn, I got shit done today, and I gotta watch, like you said, I gotta watch football too.
Exactly, dude. I mean, it sucks watching the Browns. As of now, before I hopped on here, it was 23-20 Ravens with like 2 minutes left. So that's the only bad part about Sundays is being a Browns fan.
Yeah, I mean, I figured I could grab you before the Deshaun weeks because it's not. Y'all got Joe Flacco. let's go with that.
It's been an interesting season as a Browns fan, and like being a Browns fan is so fun.
Yeah.
Because like that's just like the most Cleveland thing you can do is just like blindly root and like support this team. And like throughout the course of the season, like it really hit me. I'm like, damn, like this team like low key just kind of sucks. Like the defense just like isn't there. Joe Woods probably should get fired.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett's playing his best like football, so it's like not even like on him.
Yeah.
So it's been a rough season as a Browns fan, as most seasons are.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know what's worse, like a team that like somehow underperforms even when the bar is so low, or a team that gets your hopes up just to crush it. Like,
And the thing about every Browns game too is who's your favorite football team?
I don't have an NFL team.
Okay, for sure. The
Yeah.
Browns will like every Browns fan will know this. Like when I say this, it's like you don't know the game is over until it's fully over.
Yeah.
Like it's like they will fuck it up. Like
Yeah.
they could be. I mean, versus the Jets, you just said
Yeah.
to Joe Flacco, they were up 14 with like a minute 27 left.
Yeah.
And then they fucked it up. So it's like. It's just like that like whirlwind of emotions is just deteriorates at you and just eats at you, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, as a Raptors fan, I completely know that. We've gotten some bad buzzer beaters on us, let me tell you.
But you guys beat the Cavs in the opening game, which was pretty lit.
Yeah, might have been one of the most euphoric moments of my night, or of the last like couple weeks, because like I was watching with a kid who's a big Chetty Osman fan, just like how sexy he's hitting all these threes and just like.
Is the kid Jewish?
Nah.
Oh, wait, Chet Asman isn't Jewish. I get him confused with Omer Caspi, if you remember him.
Yeah. But I don't know why everyone like loves Chetty Osman. He's not even that.
Chetty Osman is like not good at basketball. He'll have his games where he'll go up for 20, and you're like, wow, like he might be really, really good. But I've like come to realize that Chetty Osman is like not good.
He's just like not even that swaggy of a white guy.
Dude, no, like and also too like the Cavs like have so many cool young players. It's like you're gonna choose Chetty Osman to root for. Like,
it's so
dumb.
I don't get it. But like seeing that precious dunk with like 0.7 seconds left, like we were up 0.7 seconds left. I'm okay. I cannot start celebrating yet because like this has happened before. It can happen again.
Dude, Darius Garland can throw up some bullshit and it goes in. You
Exactly.
know? So it's like, hey, they got the win though.
I mean, what was it? The Thunder were. Was it the Thunder that made the second three? Because it was the Thunder Pelicans. I think someone made a three with like less than like 2 seconds to go.
Oh, dude, Devontae Graham. You talking about Devontae Graham?
The Devontae Graham game,
Fuck
yeah.
that, man. That. I mean, like it all worked out because we ended up getting like the Thunder, like aren't necessarily winning basketball games.
Yeah.
So it's like we got the second pick.
Especially not this year.
Dude, this year's gonna be bad. Especially with Victor.
Yeah.
Victor being the trophy at the end of the season for losing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting, but no, I think Shea hit a ridiculous three. Devontae Graham literally chucked it up from full court.
Yeah.
And then it just became apparent to Shea, just like in like a dismal mood, and I'm like, yeah, that's tough.
No, I don't blame him. But no, this I mean, I just saw a thing that like Adam Silver's like investigating tanking this season because it's so blatant.
I've watched a lot of basketball in my life, and I've played a lot of 2K in my life, and Victor Wembanyama is closer to a 2K player than he is to an NBA player. Like it's like being that tall, can pull up from 30. Like an NBA GM predicted that he can add over $500 million in value to an NBA team. He will easily be the most hyped up prospect since LeBron. Like this dude, the things that this dude is like unnatural.
He looks like an alien moving around the court. I think he looks amazing. The only asterisk I have on him is there's no way that big of a body can like. I mean, look at like Yao Ming, Kristaps Porzingis, like big guys like that. Like those bodies aren't meant to run up and down the court for like 36 minutes a game.
I mean, like we saw it happen with Chet,
Yeah.
So I mean, like when you're that tall, like humans just in general aren't meant to be that tall.
Yeah.
Basketball's such a physically demanding sport.
Yeah.
But I'm like think now that we see more players of like that height being like that gifted, that like scientists are like working on like workouts and ways to like sustain that. But like I agree, it's like a player who's that big, it's like probably gonna be riddled with injuries. Knock on wood that it's not Chet, because like that would suck.
Yeah.
But like even though there is that risk and concern, it's like if you have the first pick, like you have to take him. Like it's like.
I mean, like the worst that can happen is just Greg Oden. The best that can happen is he's the next LeBron.
Yeah.
And like the thing is like the Greg Oden, like he wasn't a bust, he just got injured this year.
Yeah, that's what I feel like people like when they put Greg Oden like on that list. I'm like, you can't really count him like as like a bust. Like when I think of bust, I think of like Kwame Brown or like Anthony Bennett, dudes who legitimately gave it a shot. Yeah. Because it's like if you're injured,
Because
like,
he was a dog when he was on the court, but he just couldn't stay on the court.
Yeah. Like Greg Oden was so good at Ohio State, and like. I mean, there was, like, at the time, like, everyone can look back and be like, oh, like, they're so dumb for not taking KD. But it's, like, in that moment, like, you don't know. You know? It's, like, you take that risk.
He was called the best big man since Bill Russell.
Yeah.
Like,
so, and, like, I hate when people call him, like, call like athletes that get injured busts because that's just like, I don't know, they're humans too, and it's like already so bad for their mental health that like they're getting injured, but to be called a bust, it's like, dude, like they're definitely still incredible like at basketball, like and it doesn't take away from that, even though like injuries like derailed them. You know?
I completely agree, but the thing I'm curious about is, so Vic obviously is gonna have to go one. Scoot Braun, I want to say his last name?
Scoot Henderson.
Scoot Henderson.
He's a dog.
Yeah, he is going to, like, he's going to be one of the best number 2 picks of all time because, like, any other year he'd probably be number 1 pick. It's just like you've got the alien in front of you.
His 2 comparisons were Derrick Rose and John Morant. And like I don't know if you saw the game where Scoot and Victor played against each other, but like
insane.
Dude, Scoot was going like at the rim, meeting Victor at the rim, and had some incredible finishes and stuff. So he's going to be incredibly good. But from a Thunder perspective, the thought of having Chet and Victor on the same court would be, well.
I think it's interesting because, I mean, look at the Timberwolves right now. They're trying the Twin Towers offense/defense in 2022. Like, I don't know if it's going to work when you have, like, teams like the Warriors where, like, you need to be guarding the perimeter, like, 24/7.
See, what I think separates the Timberwolves from everyone else, though, or like, puts the Timberwolves in a different category, is that, like, Rudy Gobert cannot stretch the floor. Like, Karl-Anthony Towns, like, realistically, is probably one of the best big men shooters of all time. Like, that dude can stretch the floor.
Yeah.
So I'd be really curious to see, like, how they play against each other. But, like, Rudy Gobert can't do that. But it's, like, a Chet and Victor, you can stretch the floor, and you got 2 dudes who are over 7'2". Like, it's incredible.
No, this is going to be interesting. And it's also going to be more interesting, like, when I'm editing this in, like, 3 or 4 months, like, did it work? Did it not work?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure I give you full permission, and you'll see this too. If this whole... Well, one, the Thunder might not even get, like, Victor. But, like, if Victor ends up just, like, getting injured or, like, ends up, like, not panning out, like, you can post this somewhere. You can prove me wrong.
Yeah, no, freezing cold takes.
Freezing cold takes. I've had some hot takes in the past.
Yeah.
My most recent hot take that came true was in 2019 winter. I said DaBaby is gonna fall off. I was like, dude, I've always been a DaBaby hater. Like, he makes fun music, yeah, they're good. Like, Bop is a banger. Like, I'll give him that. He makes, like, good music, but I'm like, this dude doesn't do enough to sustain, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, all my friends, like, they literally recorded me saying that. They're like, you're an idiot, you know? DaBaby's at the top, you know? And then, like, obviously, I said in a year he's gonna fall off, that was a freezing cold take, because that was even before, like, Levitating came out. Like, that was before he still popped off, but then now DaBaby has fallen off.
No, I agree. Weird thing. I recently said I think Lil Baby's fallen off. Like,
really?
I think people are starting to catch on a little bit that, like, he's obviously everyone's favorite rapper. His features are great, but like his solo catalog is a lot of the same stuff, and I think like especially like. At the very least with DaBaby, like DaBaby had like the same flow on the same like beat of every song.
Yeah, and DaBaby knew what he was doing. Like, he knew the market that he was going for. Yeah. Like, he played that very, very well.
Lil Baby's starting to have the same flow on all of his songs.
Interesting.
So again, we'll see if it happens.
Hey, we got some hot takes on here. This is good. This is good for the time capsule to see.
Yeah.
I don't listen to enough of Lil Baby. Lil Baby's not like the kind of rapper like I normally listen to, but Lil Baby's big though.
Yeah.
Lil Baby's big.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah.
So what's your typical day or week look like right now?
We'll go like a day in the life of like a normal week. My routine's been kind of thrown off. I just got back from a 2-week trip out to Colorado, but before that, I was in a routine that I absolutely loved. So, depending on if I have to like be on calls or not for work, I'll normally like wake up around like 6 or 7, and then like first thing I always do is I open up my blinds, get some sunlight in, go and chug some water. I think that's like a crucial part to my day and to wake up. Then I'll make my bed, and then I've recently been getting into meditating. So I'll typically like meditate and stuff. I've been trying to be very much more like mindful and try and like be more present in my thoughts. Cause I'm a chronic like overthinker and stuff, and I let my thoughts get the best of me sometimes. So 10 minutes every day, I try and work towards that. But then if I don't have to be on calls by like 9, so like the way it works is like at work it's like sometimes I'm on call from 9 to 1 or like 1 to 5. So if I'm on 9 to 1, I'll usually just take a shower and go straight to work. But if I'm not, I'll usually go to the gym before work because I get a little leeway. I'm not like rushing to work. So I'll like, go to work, go to the gym, then go to work till about like 5:30 or 6, come back. And usually by the work day, at the end of the work day, like social battery is like pretty drained. I'm pretty close with all my coworkers now, so it's like I like hanging out with them, I like chatting it up with them. So like after work, I'll usually come home, make dinner, just kick it, watch sports, just hang out, and then I've been trying to be a lot better about like getting to bed at the proper time. So it's like for like a couple weeks I was like in like bed by like 9:30, which was super super sick. That was like, even though that's like very grandpa old to me, like I loved it because like I don't know, I very much value my sleep and I like am someone who needs sleep.
Yeah.
So try to do that. As of recently, it's been slipping up, but usually at the night I'll just brush my teeth, take my vitamins, do my little like skincare routine, journal for a bit, and then when I'm doing really good, like I'll read. But sometimes I'm just like kind of tired. A big thing that I've been doing now is not having like my phone like in my bed. It's because it's like I feel like the blue light is bad for me, and then also too if I'm like texting people and stuff, that like wakes me up a lot. So quick little day in the life. I've always wanted to do like a day in the life vlog or stuff, so I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think a day in the life like would be interesting, especially considering like I feel like the last like year it's switched up so much just because like college and then like the summer and then now, but like I don't know. It sounds like you got a pretty good process going on though.
Dude, my favorite kind of like TikTok and YouTube videos are like day in the life, and like I see these people that have like such like calming, like good like structures, like very good routines and stuff, and like I try to like emulate that. I haven't been as good of it as of late with like traveling, but looking forward to like being back and like getting into it. We're gonna start off good. We're gonna start off the Monday right tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the scary part about adult life is like the 9 to 5, like that stuff. But like I kind of love being able to like what you're gonna be doing from 9 to 5, so you can structure your day like pretty well because you know like what most days are gonna look like.
Exactly, and it's like I feel like my job is very flexible enough too, where it's like okay, sometimes like I'll go to the gym in the morning. But then sometimes like I'll go to the gym like in like the evening or the afternoon, and I kind of like that too because it's like if I'm it gives me some days that I'm like okay like I can sleep in like a little bit because I feel like if I like wake up at 6 every day to go to the gym like I'm gonna burn myself out, like I'm gonna get tired, so it's nice to give me some variety while also too it's like okay like I know that I'm gonna work and stuff. But yeah, I very much like the working world more than I like the school world so far.
Yeah, I think
this might also be a freezing take in a couple months, but.
Where do you lean politically and why?
So growing up, I've always definitely like leaned more to like the left side. Like always have voted Democrat, probably will continue to do that, but kind of going through college and kind of like getting more of like a holistic view of the world, I feel like I see it as less as like a right versus wrong. You know, I feel like it's very easy, and like I fell victim to this stuff, like your political beliefs, it's like this is the right way to look at things, but this is the wrong way to look at things. But one, like, that's just like untrue because it's like everyone has very different backgrounds. Like I'm friends with plenty of people who are hardcore Republicans and stuff and like have very different views about like some critical things that I have. And it's like very easy for me to be like, how can you think like that? Like that's wrong. But then also too, I'm like, you've lived such a completely different life. You have such a completely different view of the world. Like than I do.
Yeah.
And also too, I think I'm in a very interesting cult of people being a Bitcoiner and working for a Bitcoin company. So it's like that plays a very big factor into politics, and it kind of has kind of shown me that it's like no matter who's in office, it's like people are like the politicians are like not doing correct things, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican in office too. Because like like I voted for Joe Biden, and we see Joe Biden print over trillions of dollars. Funding it into our economy, making inflation terrible, stripping away the dollar, taking away our hard-earned money, making it worth less and less and less, and it's like those effects might not be apparent now, but they're just gonna get so much worse. So getting down the Bitcoin rabbit hole has definitely has changed my opinion on things too.
Yeah, no, I get that, but I completely get that where you're coming from in regards to like the right versus wrong. I feel like with how polarized things have become, like I think it's important for people to like understand like it's people, like they're like because you think something doesn't make you a bad person, and also too it's like you get put in these categories and you have to align to those certain views. Like for example, like I'm very pro-abortion, I think that it's absolutely like a woman's choice to decide what she does with her body, given the circumstances, whether it's just an accident or something even more tragic happened to that, which like is obviously like a left-leaning opinion. But then also too, like I'm against vaccine mandates, which is not like a typical left opinion. But like it's the same regard. It's like it's your body. Like if you want to get the vaccine, like by all means, like do it. But like also if you don't, like
don't feel like you should get penalized for that. So, and it's like, some people might hear that, be like, oh, you idiot, like, you're not supposed to think like that, yada, 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 you're like a bad person. And it's like, I feel like politics very much would get tied into like a person's character. It's like, oh, this person is this, like they're a bad person, but it's like, it's not like that, And it's like the world wasn't like that at like a certain point. Like it's weird kind of growing up and being our age during this time period where it's like, like a decade ago, 2 decades ago, like it wasn't as polarizing and weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I do wonder how much of that is, if it's actually worse versus how much of is we didn't really pay attention to this stuff as kids. But
yeah, that is a good point.
But at the same time, I also asked my parents, and they're like, "No, it's worse than it used to be."
I mean, social media plays a huge factor into that, and it's like I think these politicians like feed off of that. They get these people to think irrationally and stuff. They get these people, to think these like who have different points of view, like they're enemies. Well, they just all sit at the top and reap the benefits of it. Because at the end of the day, it's like, if you hate your neighbor, like these politicians like aren't gonna give a shit. They're gonna sit at the top.
Yeah.
And it's like it doesn't really impact them. I mean, like obviously their votes impact them, but it's like, I don't know. I just feel like it's just all just kind of like for show and all kind of like a scam.
No, you're right. I mean, the American political engine is just built on like so much shit. The fact that like, I don't know, a lot of like politicians don't vote the way that their constituents want them to, as well as like the whole bureaucracy lobbying shit. But like, if you pay enough money, you can just kind of have whatever you want passed.
I mean, I think it's proven that like the system is fucked up because it's like Trump became our president with literally zero political experience. For example, like say I wanted to apply to your role at Nationwide, they'd be like, "Oh, you don't have enough coding experience. Like you can't do this job. Like that's it." And it's like, okay, so I can't have enough experience for this job, but he can get to the top with literally zero political experience. And it's just shows that's like, I think that really like also proved to me it's like, damn, like you just have to like be conniving and like there's a lot of back stuff that like people don't hear about. There's a lot of like
handshake deals.
A lot of handshake deals. Like, dude, that's also like the Bitcoiner conspiracy theorist in me talking, but I don't know. Like regardless of I think who's like in office, like it's the whole reason like behind Bitcoin, giving less power to the government, decentralized currency and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's an old quote that is something along the lines of democracy is the worst government, but democracy is also the only government that works. Just because I think like most governments that like last the longest amount of time, because like no government's lasted forever, have been democracies.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the political scape is like a very weird. It's a very weird and uncomfortable like topic, and especially too like as like my opinions have kind of like changed like over time, like I don't know, it's definitely interesting.
What's your relationship like with your family?
I'm very close with my family. Dad's not super in the picture. I see my dad about like twice a year. We usually like at lunch and stuff talk for like hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours, and then we kind of go about our separate ways. I would say like my close family, they all live in Cleveland, is my mom, my grandma and grandpa, my aunt, and then my brother and his family, because my brother's married and has 2 kids. So I would say I'm very, very close with all of them. Love them a lot, especially my brother. My brother is a fantastic human being, and I don't know where I'd be without him. So, yeah.
Damn, yeah. I'm glad that you're close with like that part of the family though.
For sure. We've had our, especially since COVID, we've had our fair share of family issues, and it was at a point where me and my brother weren't close before that, and then we ended up getting like a huge fight, like screaming at each other, and then ever since then we've been so close, and I'm so grateful for him because such a good dude. I don't know how he has all that kindness in his heart and to like be there for me while dealing with his own issues, and he's incredible. I love him a lot.
Yeah, I think quarantine, I'll get to it a little later, but I think it has its silver linings, but it definitely was tougher than some people would like to admit.
I would confidently say, I don't know if this is going to be one of the questions, but the quarantine period was the worst time period of my life. I look back on that with full confidence and like saying that. And it's like definitely scary because like I look at like some of the things that could have like happened to me like outside of COVID, like there was I feel like a point where like there was a strong chance that like I wouldn't have came back to like Columbus, like you may have never seen me again, and like I'm glad that everything worked out the way it did, but no, that shit was tough. And it's like people sometimes look back in quarantine and they're like, oh, I was so productive, like I missed it, like yada yada yada. And I think it's just a little like ignorant to say because it's like so many people's livelihoods were like stripped away because of that. And it's like humans like aren't meant to stay inside. And like I can look back on comments and like easily say like had a huge toll on like my mom's mental health, and like she hasn't fully like been the same ever since. So I look back on quarantine as like a very, very like negative. And that also goes back to the politics thing. It's like they didn't care that we were sitting inside rotting, you know, like it didn't matter to them. You know, it's just like their actions and stuff really just didn't like, they like really didn't affect like they didn't know what they were doing for single American households. And like some people had good quarantine experience, but I'm sure people had it way worse than us.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a dark time period.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
You're all good, brother. We've persevered. We've gotten through it.
Yeah, and not to say what kills you makes you stronger, but I mean, at the very least, what doesn't kill you can learn from, right?
Dude, exactly. And I feel like I've learned, like, I feel like I'm a completely different individual than I was back then. You know, like, back then my mental health was, like, so shot. Like, I mean, I'm sure, like, everyone's is too. I hope I'm not coming across as, like, meaning, like, I had the toughest road, like, all this. But, no, I was in a very, very dark place. I, like, mentally wasn't healthy, physically wasn't healthy, didn't really have a desire, didn't really have, like, a purpose. And so I look back, that's why I look back on junior year with such fond memories and like moving into the Dodge, because like, dude, that year literally saved my life. Like that shit literally like changed everything for me, and it literally saved me from like what was going on. So it all works out, you know?
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear all that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, also, I don't know if you've been peeping the questions some, but I feel like you're jumping to a couple of questions I got later.
you alluded to it, and I kind of figured it was gonna go there, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I've had people that have like jumped around in questions before. I'm like, oh, just can take that off. But I mean, like, one of the quick hitters I got later. What's your biggest hot take? You already got that.
Oh my god.
Unless you get more for that, but
I got some more. I got some hot takes.
Oh,
I got some hot takes I can pull out.
We'll get to it. Yeah. What do you think is your most unique talent?
I would say that this might sound super egotistical, narcissistic. If you hate this answer, I'm sorry. Oh wait, should I get one from you?
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I'll take one of these, yeah.
But I would say my social skills have gotten me very, very far in life. Just like on a common daily interaction, like with the cashier and stuff. I don't know. I feel like I've had very, very great conversations with people that like the average people don't, you know? So I'm very, very grateful for that, and I feel like it's gotten me very far in life, and it's opened up a lot of doors for me.
Yeah, I don't think that's egotistical at all. I mean, like, I think
appreciate that.
Yeah, look, I mean, coming from a computer science background, being able to socialize is not something everyone has.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I think it's good, you know? Like, it's the fact that, like, to your point, like, the ability to, like, talk to people rather than, like, I don't know, there are some people that just, like, treat, like, between, like, you know, people at a store, people on the street, just, like, not as people,
For
you know?
sure. And it's like, I don't know, like, there's plenty of times where my social battery's shot, and like, I'm like, I cannot talk to anyone right now, and like, I feel very low energy, and I feel like when I'm like that, it's very obvious, because it's like, typically I'm very high energy, very like, chatty and stuff like that, so there's plenty, like, so many times where it's like that, but also like, I like kind of thrive off of like human conversation, like just like talking to someone like the elevator, you know, it's just like saying like, hi, like, how are you, just like being able to like, interact with someone like that. I don't know. I just have always loved that, and always have kind of like fed off of that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree though. I feel like I also get energy out from like talking to people, like especially like actual conversations, like you know, shit like this.
Hell yeah.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with, you know, we've all got a battery, and sometimes you just need to recharge, and
for sure.
Sometimes that means not doing whatever that looks like.
And like I feel like it's almost like looked down upon to do that sometimes, and like I don't know, I have a lot of really, really good and like close friends, and I'm so grateful for that. But I feel like there's been plenty of situations where it's like they want to hang out and do something, but it's like I know like deep down like I don't really want to, nothing personally, but just like I need to charge my social battery, like I need to do what's best for me to like prioritize like myself and like help me operate as a regular person. I feel like I do a good job of like being like, hey, like I'm not like gonna hang out tonight, like I'm like kind of like feeling out of it, but also too I feel like that's led to some people like thinking I'm like kind of like a fake person, thinking like I'm a flake, like thinking I don't actually like them and stuff, which is like not the case like at all. But you know, I feel like that's been like a common trend for me ever since I was like in high school.
Yeah, no, I think if you're not in the right headspace, like,
Yeah.
but I feel that, like, I feel like in the Vatican, as much as I loved living with all the guys and, like, seeing everyone that was there, it's like, oh, like, this person's on the porch, come hang out, or, like, oh, we're all in the living room, come hang out, it's like, sometimes just, like, I would love to, I'm not mentally there.
Dude, absolutely. And like especially too in college too, which is like so social like all the time. I feel like I'm a little like, contradicting myself by saying like how much I love social interaction and stuff, but it's like, dude, like because of that I feel like my battery drains also.
Yeah.
And then like I just like need to recover it, and then like it leads to situations like people like, oh, you don't hang out with me, or like, oh, you don't want to like make time for me. But sometimes, you know, like I've always been pro like prioritizing like your mental health and stuff like that, you know, because it's like, dude, I've been in so many situations where my mental health has been absolutely shot, and like I feel like I've done a good job of like taking care of that and like doing what's best for me, but it also leads to those situations, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, to your point, I think like as great as other people are, you like the only person that can take care of your mental health is you.
For sure.
And that really should come over a lot of different things. Even if it means like not going out or whatever.
Dude,
you know?
that's why like I've like tried to like limit like my like going out and like alcohol intake, because this past summer, I don't know if you remember this, but like I did a whole month where like I didn't drink.
Mm-hmm.
I would still go out, like I would still like go out with people, just drink water, and I didn't touch alcohol for over a month, and I felt fucking incredible. Like that shit made me feel so good. I've never felt more motivated. Like even in the summer, like I felt so productive, like in the gym, like outside the gym, doing things that like I wanted to do, and I absolutely like loved that, and it like was so good for my mental health. So I feel like now there's been a lot of times like people ask me to go out, and I'm like kind of like like I don't know if I want to.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's like, oh, like he doesn't want to hang out, he never wants to do this, but also too it's just like I'm doing things that make me happy. You know.
As you should.
Yeah.
What were you doing when you first got the news of COVID?
I was in South Carolina. It was for a service trip that I planned out for AKSI. Hudson and like Shannon and Badzik were all there. And I remember hearing about COVID from my mom, because I was supposed to go to Portugal that summer. And she was like, I don't think it's safe for you to go, like COVID's gonna get bad. This was in February, and I'm like, Mom, like COVID isn't real, like what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then I found out we weren't gonna be at school, and like it didn't really hit that hard, cause like I was with all my friends and stuff, and like I felt good, and like we were having fun on spring break. So it was like the reality didn't really hit until the NBA season got canceled. That really like fucking threw everything off. It was the Thunder game actually.
With the Jazz with Gobert touching all the
and then
lines.
the Thunder coach ran on the court and was like, "Yo, don't play this game. Like this shit, like don't play it." And then the season got shut down after that. So that really hit hard. And then when we drove back to campus, because like we got back on a Sunday, because initially it was like Sunday spring break, like we just stay the rest of the time because we're at school. But then we got back on Sunday and we're like, oh shit, like we gotta like go home, you know? And that shit was, that like walking into my dorm room, that was one of the saddest moments. Like I walked in and everything was like placed so normally and stuff, and I'm like, dang, like I gotta like move out. Like like if everything felt right, but it was so wrong. I didn't even sleep in there that night. I slept with Hudson and Badzik in your guys' room, and it was by then it was completely empty. Like I think you and Evan and Adam like all moved out, and I literally sat there and cried because I was like, holy shit, like what the fuck is going on?
I don't blame you. I remember clearing out our room with Evan, Adam, and Sophia, and just like you said, you just walk in there and just like dismantle it within like the span of like a couple hours because like can't like.
And it's like the end of the school year is usually such a good feeling because it feels right.
Yeah.
You know, obviously like everyone's sad that like it's ending, but it's like it feels good. You get that closure. You get to do like all those fun things at the end, and it's like okay, like it's done. You know, so you know it really feels good. But that just felt like so wrong.
Yeah.
And it just felt like so bad. And it's like at the moment we didn't even like prepare ourselves to like what was to come over the next couple of years too. And it was just a very surreal and weird time period.
No, I agree. It's definitely like between, you know, where you were when you first found the COVID, but also just like dealing with that, like going home for the first time, like with everything. Like I feel like that's gonna be like up here for a long time.
Oh, dude, for sure. There's gonna be so many studies that come out about like the effects of quarantine on that. My nephew was 4 years old when it happened, and that's a very integral part of his social life, going to kindergarten, interacting with people, like, you know, it's a very fundamental time period, and I think we're gonna look back on that and see a lot of negative repercussions of all that.
Yeah, I know Derek has talked a lot about like he's like been around kids and they don't really know how to interact with other kids their age. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, they just can't have it.
Exactly, and it's like not on the kids, you know. It's like because you're literally cooped up in the house, like online school. That online interaction is never like the same. Like I'm sure you feel like this too. When I got back to campus in August of 2020, like dude, it was was hard for me to talk to people. Like it took me a while to where I felt back to my social self and was like able to talk to people. But as someone who's never really felt like struggling in social situations, like I just like didn't know how to like talk to people, and that shit was just a weird feeling.
No, I completely get it. It's gonna be interesting, like you said, the long-term repercussions of COVID itself, as well as like all the impacts that it had like in society.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a while till we figure that out though. So that's
It'll be very interesting to look back on everything and stuff like that. But knock on wood, we're moving past it finally. Because I remember I always used to think like during COVID, like when I would walk to JO North to get like COVID tested, I would always think like, dang, like what did we even think about before COVID? Like we just were kind of living life.
Yeah.
And I feel like now we're getting back to that point where it's like, you know, like we're just kind of like living life and stuff like that. But man, that shit was surreal.
It's been a long 2.5 year, 3/4 years, and I'm like you said, I'm hoping we're looking out of the woods.
Yeah. Knock on wood. I do.
Might be another freezing cold take.
God, I hope not. I don't think America will ever go back into quarantine like that, though. I think no matter what happens, I don't think it's possible for us to do that again.
Yeah, I think that we've learned to just live with it and just
And I also don't think this also like goes back to like the politics, like having these beliefs that kind of like contradict with the norms. I don't think America should ever go back into quarantine. Humans aren't meant to be cooped up like that. Humans aren't meant to be stripped away like that. And obviously I have a different perspective on it. Because like I watched it at first, like single-handedly happen, like my mom, you know, so it's like that's why I'm very like anti-lockdowns, very anti-quarantine. But I just think in general, like we should never like be subject to that again. You know, it just was like horrible.
What's your relationship like with your religion?
So I grew up in a very, very open-minded religious household, and this is actually like interesting because like I've talked about it with people who have like fell out of their religion, you know, like people who went to religious high schools, and like a lot of times, you know, they just don't have that religion with God anymore, or not religion, they don't have that relationship with God.
Yeah.
But I grew up Hindu. I grew up in a very open-minded household in terms of like my grandma would always say like everyone has their own interpretations of God, so it's like no one's right or wrong, but everyone has like this belief in something bigger. Versus like strict Christians are like if you don't believe in Christianity, like everyone else is wrong and you're gonna go to hell. And so I feel like that made me have a very good relationship with God. I would say I still am a religious person, not very active, not as active as I should be, but I have a little statue of Ganapati. He's one of the Hindu gods. I have that. I'll always have him in my room. When I was in third grade, for my parents' divorce, I would go to therapy, and so my therapist at the time gave me that. So I'll always cherish him and always like have that with me. I used to be good about praying every night. Kind of lost that. Something maybe I should pick up, but I would say I have a positive relationship with God. And this isn't like a lot of people that I'm sure have came on here and talked about like how it was like this whole falling out, like this whole ordeal, like discovering things, stuff like that. I've never had that, and I think I credit that to the open-mindedness of, you know, my family and like teaching me that like, you know, there's not just like one straight religion, you know, you can believe in other things. Especially like I grew up in a super Jewish area. Yeah. So like I learned a lot about that culture. Obviously, you know, Christianity is so prevalent in our world. So it's like I've learned about it through some of my friends, but yeah, I would say I have a pretty good relationship with God.
Yeah. Good on your grandma for that, because I think that honestly that's the way it should be. Like, I feel like the strictness of religion is more of guidelines. It should be acting as guidelines, because like, you know, at the end of the day, it's a belief. It's not a science. Like, there's not one specific right way to do something, you know?
Dude, yeah, I completely agree. And it's like, when Brady was when he actually told me this, like Christianity, like, do you believe if you're not Christian, like all these other religions, like you're gonna go to hell? Yeah. And I'm just like, God, like that's just like doesn't make any type of sense. It's like, what gave you like the privilege of being born into this religion and like, you know, like, oh, like I'm in the right one, like everyone else is wrong, you know? It just feels a little strict, a little backwards. So yeah, no offense to anyone. That's their belief, because obviously you're entitled to your own belief, but I don't know, I'm very grateful for the open-mindedness, because I've never had a negative relationship with religion, which I feel like is very common, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I think that to your point, like a lot of people like end up having either falling out or just like questions, because like I know religion's perfect, everyone has questions, but like I think it's what you do with that questions, because like you could just like this thing I don't understand this, I don't understand this, it's kind of stupid. There's a whole thing in Judaism where it's the wise son, the wicked son, the simple son, the son that doesn't know how to ask, and there's in the Talmud, which is the rabbis arguing with each other over the course of thousands of years over text, which I think is hilarious sometimes. There's like some theories that like the one who doesn't know how to ask because he doesn't ask the questions becomes the wicked son, like who's like why is all this for you, who doesn't like include himself. But whereas the simple son who like even though he does like his questions aren't the most advanced questions, like because by asking these questions become like more understandable, more knowledgeable, and might interpret things differently and becomes the wise son. So yeah. I don't know where I was going with that.
Hey, let's see. That's what I said. I've learned a lot about just like different religions, and like I respect them all. Just shout out grandma for that.
What is your biggest regret?
Probably not telling people how I felt earlier. I kind of was in the bad habit, like girl-wise, and like not like expressing my feelings, kind of like eating it up, and then in turn letting it affect my relationships with people. I would say I learned that lesson in the middle of college, so then I was more inclined to tell people how I feel, whether it's, like admitting I have a feeling for a girl, or just like saying being like, hey, like that hurt, like, or like, hey, like this is how I feel about the situation, like if I'm like mad at something, take me off, I'm mad at something. I would say that's my biggest regret, because I feel like that's probably like impacted a lot of my relationships, like whether it's like growing up in college and stuff, so. Not being mature enough to do it, it's definitely like kind of an immature thing to like kind of hide behind your emotions and then like act like an idiot. So I would say that's probably my biggest regret so far.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that, I don't know, it seems like you're kind of trying to rectify that. And
it's hard to sometimes because it's like telling someone like how you feel, like it's like definitely like leads to like some uncomfortable convos, leads to, it's kind of a scary thing, but after doing that, like after like kind of like realizing this and looking back on it, I've definitely learned it like is for the best. It's it gives a lot more clarity, gives you a lot more just like, I don't know, it gets that weight off your chest,
What are you most worried about?
Definitely as of right now, like my mom. That's definitely been a cause for a lot of concern, a lot of sleepless nights. Part of the reason why I ran off to Colorado for 2 weeks. Definitely her and like how that's gonna play out. Just a lot going on back at home, and having divorced parents, it was always me and my mom against the world. Like, I don't know, I always got kind of made fun of for always calling my mom every day, but me and my mom are super close, and seeing some of the things that have happened have really took a toll on me and my mental health. And it's like, to a certain degree, it's like I can't worry about it too much, because it's like my mom like is an adult, and like it is kind of like her responsibility to take care of herself, but it's like I can't help it because I love her a lot. So trying to find that balance of being there to help her, but also to like taking care of myself and doing the things I want to do. So as of now, probably that's my biggest worry. And then in just like grand scheme of life, just like I don't know, I like don't necessarily want to live like an average life. It's like I love my job, and I feel like I don't really have like a typically like average job. Like I don't want to live like an average life. Like I want to like be able to do cool things, do things that I'm really passionate about, like go explore places, meet a lot of like cool people. So I would say those are my kind of biggest worries.
Yeah, I'm sorry about your mom.
All good, brother. It's a part of life.
Yeah, that's the weird part. Like I don't know if you've had this thought, but like I don't know how you come into the world and have to watch your parents age, and then, like do the same thing with your kids. Like
it's definitely, I didn't mean to cut you off also, but it's definitely an interesting, it's a weird thing. And now I feel like I'm at the point now where it's like my mom is not the one taking care of me. It's like more so I'm gonna have to be the one taking care of my mom. And it's like like I'm 22, but still feel like it's hard, Like it's definitely interesting to kind of just see, like, it's like now we're at that point where it's like you said, it's like you see your parents age and stuff, and it's like not this like rely on them as much before.
Yeah. What's the hardest thing that's happened to you this past year?
past year,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm repetitive, but definitely the stuff with my mom. That's probably the hardest stuff I've ever had to go through. Just cause like that took like the biggest toll, like on me, and it's like caused so much anxiety and like so much bad mental health. But yeah, that's definitely been it.
Yeah, I don't feel bad about repetitive. It seems like it's a very important thing. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it's your mom, you know.
It's definitely something that like also too part of the reason why like I don't like to drink that much is because it's like I just like get drunk and then I think about it, then I get sad, and then it's like brings out a lot of like deep down emotions. But yeah, I would for sure say that was the hardest thing I've had to go through the past year. Like I said, going back to quarantine, man, that was definitely the worst time period.
Yeah, and I'm about to cut this part, but when my dog started getting like really sick,
Mhm.
I remember like I couldn't smoke, like or I
Yeah.
couldn't like a lot of things to be honest. I was just because like it just like immediately just start thinking about that. It's like
Yeah.
fuck.
Dude, and it's like these substances, you know, which like honestly like I don't think it's like a bad thing because you know how many people like in our situations dealing with these really tough things would turn to substances and like that's where you create that addiction. That's where
Yeah.
you get that wow, I can't be sober, I have to do this so like I feel better.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like it's a better thing that this like is how we approached it because then it's like okay, like you're not relying like on it as much. I'm sorry about the dog too. I know that was really tough for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think it's interesting for us. It's like, because I've never really heard anyone else say that. Like when using any sort of substance, like it's like oh immediately like it brings these things out. I feel like usually it's like the other way around. You know?
Dude, and like I'm so glad that like in high school, like even like in high school, like I was like that. I was like oh shit, like I don't want to like. I'm kind of going through some stuff, like I don't want to drink, like I don't want to smoke, I kind of push myself away, and I'm so grateful for that, because I feel like I started drinking and smoking at like a pretty early age and kind of ended up down like a really bad path.
Yeah.
So one, I'm very grateful for that, and two, like, I don't know, like, if I'm like anxious or like anxious, like worried about something, like I purposely don't drink, and I feel like that has led to like so much, like, I don't know, I feel like it's just like a way better habit, you know, because it's like, I've like seen it with my friends too, you know, who are going through things and then like they drink a lot and then like it comes out and it's just tough, you know? It's just tough, and then like those substances like affect your neurotransmitters on their own, and then you're usually left in a worse off situation and stuff like that, you know? I feel like alcohol is used as like a crutch for a lot of things in today's society. I really hate how prevalent alcohol is in like our world, and it's like kind of like if you don't drink, especially at our age, you're considered like weird. Like dude, when I would go out and like not drink, like people are like, oh, what? Like people think that's weird. Like girls would be like, oh, like that's like kind of a red flag. And I'm like, why? You know? It's like there's.
Basically, why is that a red flag?
I just like don't need to be like doing this, and like it just sucks too, and especially like in Columbus, you know, where like drinking culture is like pretty like heavy because you know it is like a Midwestern city.
How much else is there to do?
Yeah, but it's just. I don't know. Like I could talk about just like alcohol intake for like forever, and just like how I think it's just like so bad for you, and there's really like no. It is fun. Don't get me wrong. Like, but like there's no real redeeming qualities to it.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're putting literal toxins in yourself.
Dude, literal poison, and then it's like the effects of it don't just last like that day. It's like if you look at it from just like a completely objective perspective, it's like alcohol has calories. Those calories are bad for you. Those calories are gonna make you gain weight, and like that's not good for you. But then also too, it's like, dude, when I'm hungover, I said this earlier. It's like I don't do shit the next day. I don't work out. Like I'm just sitting there recovering, feeling like shit. But the recovery process doesn't even feel good. You know, it's just like when you recover from like a workout or stuff, it's like
you're sore, but you feel good.
Yeah, you feel great. It's like holy shit, like I just accomplished this. Like now I'm like, all right, like but hangovers and stuff are literally like the worst. And like alcohol used as a crutch like socially too. Like I was a victim of this. Like I would go to like parties, like even like AKSI parties where it's just like I know everyone, you know, and it's like I feel like I couldn't hold a conversation unless I had a few drinks in me. And I'm like, that is like, and that's like such a common thing for people to say. Like I remember when I was doing my like no drinking month, everyone was like, how are you able to like go out? Like I like don't think I could do it. I'm like, why are you using alcohol as a crutch for like social interaction?
I feel like if you're able to say that, you should be able to be like, oh shit, like something's wrong there. If you can't go a month without drinking.
And it's like people are like, oh well, you can just do that because you're so good socially. Like I'm not like that. I need it. I'm like, but like you don't. You know, it's just like a crutch.
Yeah.
So I mean, granted, don't get me wrong. Like when I'm drunker, I'm definitely like way more like social, way more like ready to go. But then also too, it's like I get that anxiety of, damn, what did I say to this person? Like, was I weird? Like,
Yeah.
all that.
What's something that made you laugh really hard recently?
When we were out in Colorado, so I was visiting my friend Brian, and we all went to a bar in Arvada, Colorado, so like kind of like the suburbs of Denver.
Yeah.
We met this bartender who was very, very flirty, and like it wasn't just with us. It was with like some of like the older guys at the bar too. Cause this was like a suburban bar. This wasn't like a downtown Denver bar. So I was like, okay, like this lady's really, really good at her job.
Yeah.
Like this lady is like clearly like this lady clearly knows what she's doing. And she just starts talking to us about like what she does outside, and she was saying how she was a Twitch streamer, and she's like 15K followers, and we're like, oh, like no way, like what's your name? And her name was Miss Squirt. She's sponsored by Squirt, the little like soda, the lemon lime soda, but then also she's playing that angle, and just that whole interaction with her was fucking hilarious. Cause I was like, wow, like I respect the bag chasing, but that shit was hilarious.
I wonder if the name came before or after the Squirt sponsorship.
Well, she said it was a previous name. She had a different name, but she said it led to a lot of weird guys commenting things, and I'm like, does Miss Squirt not lead to weird guys commenting things? But
hey,
she knows what she's doing. And 15K followers, like she was definitely getting good tips at the bar too. Like she knows what she's doing.
Now chase that bag.
Exactly.
Good
but
for you, Miss Squirt.
that shit was funny because it's like, I don't know, you go into like a suburban bar in Colorado with like kind of like expectations like, oh, we're gonna meet some weird people, like gonna be kind of a weird night, and it lived up to that. And that shit was probably something I'll remember forever. It was hilarious.
Who's your hero?
Probably my grandpa. My grandpa's a really, really good dude. He's really cool. My grandpa, like in terms of like how I said my biggest fear was like living an average life. Like my grandpa's lived anything but an average life. Like came to America, started the toy company, like the stuffed animal company, literally has given me and my family so many amazing blessings. Like that's something I'll never take for granted. You know, like my family doesn't have to worry about financial problems, was always able to, you know, pursue the things I wanted to do, to be able to go to college, and like the fact that the reason why I'm able to go to college and, you know, have like a great job and be surrounded by amazing people and really like be passionate about things is because, you know, my grandpa made the decision that he did, and he worked so hard, and just easily one of the coolest people I've ever met. Like, has traveled the world, and I don't know, he's an awesome dude. So I would definitely say he's my hero. Especially too, like when my parents got divorced, like he was so open, like he was so kind and nice to like my mom and like me, and it was like kind of like that father figure who like I didn't really have. So he's an incredible guy. Yeah. He's definitely my hero.
Sounds like an amazing person.
Yeah, shout out Granddad.
What do you think your past self would think of you now?
I think about this a lot, and I, again, like don't want to sound egotistical, but I think I'd be really like fucking proud. You know, I feel like every year of my life I've done things that like I think are cool, and like I feel like I've always like enjoyed every stage of life, and like things just like keep getting better and better. And like to now, like I look back at myself in high school, and it's like to be where I'm at like now, or even like freshman year. Like remember when I was getting like sick like all the fucking time?
Yeah.
Like, I literally couldn't like go 1 week without getting sick. To have like the workout routine, to be able to like live like a sustainable life, and like I'd be really proud of myself. Been doing some cool things recently too. So I think my past self would be proud of myself. But then also too, you know, it's like things haven't been perfect. I've done plenty of dumb shit.
Yeah.
Done plenty of dumb things I regret. But you know, that's, you know, part of life, and like working towards, you know, doing things that make my past self proud and my like older self like happy. You know.
Yeah, and I agree. I mean, it's human to fuck up. So I think that, you know, younger you would definitely like. If younger you didn't understand that, I think younger you is kind of a bitch.
Yeah. Younger me would definitely see some of the life experiences I've had and be like, holy shit, like I never thought I'd get to do this, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would say overall proud though. Overall, like, and that's something I try to remind myself when, like, you know, I have bad days. And it's very easy, like, for me to compare myself to other people and be like, you're not doing shit, like this person's doing this and this person looks like this and this. It's very easy for me to get down on myself and compare it to, so I try and like have that stuff. It's like it's all about you, it's all about progress, like you know how far you've come, you know the things you've overcame, and you should be proud of yourself, you know?
What's your favorite tradition?
Mm-hmm. I would say the biggest one is every time I go home, there's a sushi place called Pacific East, and I fucking love sushi. Sushi is probably one of my favorite foods. So me and my grandpa will always go. We'll always share like a bridge for two. So it comes out on like a little bridge.
Yeah.
And it's just filled with fucking great ass sushi. And we always go, and I would say normally I eat 80% of it, and my grandpa eats like 20.
Yeah.
Dude, the past couple times has not been pulling his weight, and I'm like literally just like, at a certain point, it's like we're not taking the sushi home, you know? It's like a challenge.
Yeah.
At a certain point, it becomes a challenge
Yeah.
to just eat all that sushi, and it's so enjoyable. And then last time, me, my brother, and my grandpa all went, and that was just a fantastic time.
Oh yeah. No, I gotta, next time I'm in Seoul Town, I gotta go check out the sushi
Yeah,
place.
the Pacific East, we can go. We can get the bridge. Then for 3 people, you can get the boat. So
Yeah.
that was what we all did, and that shit was fucking incredible. And it's gotten to the point now that they know like who we are and like what we're gonna order. It's like when I sit down, like they automatically give me a Diet Coke because I like the sugariness to like counteract everything. That's probably the main tradition I have, and that's probably been the best one so far.
That's a goofy one. I
Yeah,
love it.
that's great.
What's the best thing that's happened to you this past month?
Or my decision to go out to Colorado for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of decided to go because I don't know, like after graduating Ohio State and like staying in Columbus, you know, I never really got that experience to take myself out of my comfort zone and go to a new city. And I'm so grateful to be here. I'm grateful for like my job. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. But like it's very easy to be like, damn, like I wish I lived in this city. I wish I lived in this city. And one of those cities was Denver. So I got to go out there for 2 weeks. And I feel like it was such a good experience. I feel like it opened my mind up to like a lot of things. Like for the first 7 days, it was very self-reflective, kind of wasn't letting myself kind of like feel like some of the things that I was going through. Wasn't letting myself kind of being like hurt. Or kind of wasn't letting myself like feel. It was kind of like trying to push things down. It's like, I don't know, like you heard my morning routine. Like I feel like I like operate on high things, and I kind of got in the mindset. I'm like, if I do this, this, and this, like I'm gonna have good mental health. Like this is gonna be good for me. But also it's like, yeah, that will be good for you, but you also need to like express your feelings and allow yourself to come to closure with things and like, you know, not just bottle everything up and like try and take it out like in the gym, you know, it's like a holistic thing. And I feel like that became apparent to me like on the trip. And like, so like the first 7 days were super self-reflective, super just like, kind of like, okay, like, you know, like I'm allowed to feel this way, you know? I feel like there's a lot of pressure post-grad that you need to move to this grand city, you need to meet all these people, you need to like have fun and like go out, do all these crazy things, like, but like you're allowed to also, you know, be human, you know, and feel these things. And I feel like I've done both of those things. I've done a lot of cool shit and I've felt good, but then those are also like in the back of my mind, you know, there's some things that are eating at me and gnawing at me, if that makes sense. So I feel like the first 7 days really opened my mind to that. The next 5 days were pretty degenerative. I took PTO from work, and that was when I was staying with like Brian and like my friend Dom came out, and then like hung out with them and their roommates. We're doing some incredible hikes, but then also just like having very college like days of just like kicking it since like at like 9 a.m. and just hanging out, and like that was good. I was like, dang, like that's not my reality anymore, but that shit was fun. Like it was good get back into that. And then the last 4 days, I was, I think I was there for, excuse my math, but it's
the last
so X amount of days on the 14-day trip. I was actually solo, so I stayed in a hostel. I was like, all right, like this is like I've never traveled solo. Like I need to get out of my comfort zone. Hiking solo was something that was like kind of like scared me a little bit because I'm like, what's something happen to me? What if I lose service? So that was all about getting out of my comfort zone and doing something that, you know, would make my past self proud. You know, like meeting new people, just kind of being out on the city alone, and that shit was incredible. You know, like that, like even down to like. Just even like driving in the state. I don't know. That was one thing that really fucking worried me was just like driving throughout the state of Colorado, like an area I'm not familiar with. Like that just gave me a ton of anxiety for some reason. And then like I went on like a 2-hour drive to like get to this one hike, and I was like, dang, like I can do this. Like that was like such a good thing for me to be like, wow, like I can like operate at this. And just like, I don't know, I love it out there. I love the mountains. Went on 6 incredible hikes. Got to see some great friends that I normally don't get to see. So in the past month, that was the best thing that happened to me for sure. Was going on that trip.
Sounds like a great trip,
dude. Yeah, and it took out most of the month too. So obviously, like I had to say that.
Yeah. What did you plan on it being like a very like not spiritual, but like growth journey for you, or was that
going into that like 2-week trip, like I kind of like had expectations. It was different than what I thought it would be. I kind of thought that I would go out there and I was like, I need to do 14 amazing hikes, I need to do this, I need to accomplish this, and that'll be good. And then I realized I'm like, okay, like you get in this mindset of like, you need to do this and it'll be good for you, but like, you don't need to do all that, you know, like it's like all like a process. It's all like you can slow down and relax. Yeah, doing these things are cool, but it's also like to take care of your mental health. It's like you need to have that like base. So like it was good. I kind of knew like inevitably that it was gonna happen, but it happened in a different way than what I thought. So and plus two, like I went into it because I was like, I went home for like a day, and that was like really like upsetting and really hard for me. And then like just like being in Columbus, like especially after post grad, has definitely been like an interesting experience. Transitioning to post grad life, but also being in the same city, and like I just wanted to do something different. So that's why I went on the trip, and it was incredible.
What do you think your purpose in life is?
To make people around me happier and to make them better people. Whether it's, like for example, the cashier, like maybe me smiling and asking questions about their day, like maybe that will like change their day. Or, like maybe if someone's watching this and like they're dealing with a lot of shit that's been like kind of cooped down in them, like whether it's stuff at home or stuff in their personal life, to be able to think it through and be like, and like use this as inspiration, to work on themselves and try and get better. I like just want to be someone that people look at and be like, dang, like I want to be like him, like I want to feel like I want to like live the life that he lives. Is again, I still feel like I sound like egotistical and like narcissistic and shit like that, but I care a lot about people, and like I feel like just sometimes people don't take care of themselves, and I want people like I want to just positively impact people around me, if that makes sense.
I don't think it's egotistical to want to be inspiring.
Yeah.
To try to lead people to do the things that you do to be better than. Yeah, I don't think that's egotistic at all.
Because it's like I look at so many people like who are like our age, and like I'm like, damn, like they inspire me. Like holy shit, like they're such a high achieving individual. Like that's so cool. And like I hope I can be like that for some people.
Do you think you're fulfilled?
Not yet. I think that there's still, which like I don't think is a bad thing. Also, I feel like I have a lot of goals and a lot of things I want to accomplish, and I haven't even come close to any of those. But that's what like is exciting. It's like there's so much life to live. There's so much things to do, so much cool shit to see, so much cool shit to do, so many people to interact with. So I don't feel fulfilled, but not in a negative way, in more of a way that I'm like, yeah, I want to go out there and like I want to do those things.
Yeah.
I think it would be hard for anyone to be 22 years old and feel fulfilled. I'm definitely like proud of myself. I'm definitely proud of like the things going on in my surroundings, but I don't know if I'll ever like truly feel fulfilled. Maybe that's not true. Maybe when I have like a family and like kids and stuff like that. But like there's so many things I want to see and so many things I want to do. And it's like I don't know. Who knows what like the next 10 years are gonna look like for me? Like who knows? Like, maybe I'll get into running and I'll run a marathon, or maybe I'll fucking climb a mountain or like do some shit like that. So it's like I feel like I have that drive and that excitement for life. So I'm not fulfilled, but I'm excited to work towards that.
Yeah. Side note. One, that's funny. Two, I swear to God, you're reading these questions. You're touching some of my points, but no, I think. On the one hand, like, there's still so much more to do in life, but on the other hand, like, I've had this thought of, like, there's no way you can accomplish. Like, even if you had 1,000 years at Ohio State, like, didn't have to eat, sleep, do whatever, I don't think you could learn even everything at this university, and that's just learning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. Yeah, that's one of the beautiful parts of life. Like, you're not going to be able to do everything, so make the most of what you can do.
And it's like, I feel like it's very easy, like, for me to look back on things and, like, have, like, regrets, like, oh, I should have done this, oh, like, I, like, should have like done this, and then I would be in this position. But it's like I didn't, you know. And it's like I wouldn't trade the experiences that and the people around me that I would have for like the entire world. So very grateful for everything, and very grateful to keep on going.
Where do you see yourself going in the next 5 years, both personally and professionally?
Personally, just still working towards this goal that I have of being just like a man that like brings out the best in people and who works so much like on himself, and then that energy being contagious and like helps out people. So personally, like kind of like I want to be able to look back on myself in 5 years. Again, I'm saying this on camera so like I can like see this, in case I ever not get motivation or anything, but someone I can look back on myself and be proud. Because I look back on myself, my 17-year-old self would be very proud of the way that life turned out, a lot of the things, and they weren't things that like I ever like even thought would be. Like, if you told myself 5 years ago I'd be working fucking Bitcoin and not working for some NBA team, I'd be like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, what the hell are you doing? But it's like, I look back on that and be like, no, this is exactly where I want to be. Like, I'm so happy with that. And professionally, like, I don't know, still a long ride in the crypto journey. So I would like to remain in the space. The company I work for is still a startup. I've only founded about 2 years ago, so I would love to stay with them. I would love to keep being in this industry in the early stages. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would say that. But then also too, it's like I don't know what the next 5 years are gonna hold because like it's so
Yeah.
easy for me to like I kind of have this like fake life thought that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna like move to New York and find some like really cool indie girlfriend, and then we're gonna hate New York, then we're gonna move out west and spend our weekends hiking. But it's like I don't know
Yeah.
if that'll happen. Like I would like to leave Ohio, but it's like I don't know if that's what's in store for me and stuff like that. So I'm just gonna have to ride it out and see, you
Yeah.
know?
No, I think that like as great as a plan would be for like the next however many years, like you said, life happens. Things change, and no, things don't the only thing you can plan for is things not going according to plan.
For sure. I think whatever I want, wherever I'm at in 5 years, I want to feel grateful and content and happy where I am, Because it's like very easy, like some of our friends in 5 years are going to be doing some crazy ass shit. Like Badzik, you might be president by then, bro. I don't even know.
Yeah.
So, like, trying not to compare myself to other people and being proud of where they're at, but then also being proud of where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping that that you are feeling all of that.
Yeah, I'm so for you too, brother.
What do you want to do by the next time we film? I don't know when that'll be, but I'm saying 3+ years from now.
Obviously, some of like the generic, like less tangible things are like travel,
Yeah.
like fall in love, like make a lot of money, yada yada yada. More like macro, like specific things. Maybe in 3 years I'll be out of my workout phase, but I would have at least liked to bench 225 by then, which I think is very possible.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed on that one. Maybe I'll be fat in 3 years and that doesn't come true. But I don't know. Definitely travel more, definitely take myself out of my comfort zone, meet some new people while also maintaining the relationships I have with people. And overall just like goes back to it, just be someone that I can look at in 3 years and be very, very proud of myself of where I'm at. And and like look back at myself and be like, wow, like what was this kid doing, you know? And be like, I'm so glad I'm at where I'm at now, if that makes sense. I know that was kind of a repeat cop-out answer.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. They're very intertwined.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, that's the end of the conversational part of this podcast.
Hell yeah.
Wrapping up, I got some quick hitters for you.
Hell
First thing comes to mind, if you need time to think, take it, but try not to overthink it.
First thing that comes to mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so this is a moment in the mind of Shivam, how do you pronounce it?
Madhavin.
Shanavan. What's a song that stuck in your head recently?
You know that sunroof song that's popular on TikTok? It's like, I got my head out the sunroof.
Yeah.
That one. That one's like, I like normally don't like music like that, but that one's so catchy to make me feel good.
Yeah, we'll throw the title right over here.
Yeah, throw it on there.
What's one of your favorite quotes or lyrics?
Your comfort zone is what kills you, because it's very easy to get comfortable, and to get out of your comfort zone is very like a hard task, but that's where the most growth comes from and something that I believe in. So that's quote. Lyric. Dude, I listen to some pretty degenerative rap songs, so not a lot of hard-hitting lyrics, but my favorite song of all time is A Long Time by Playboi Carti, and the lyric goes, I'd rather die before I come in last, and I like just think that's so sick, it just makes me want to run through a fucking brick wall, so I would say those two.
That's good. What's one of the best show or movies you've seen in the past month?
Past month, dude, honestly, I really suck at watching shows and movies, like I honestly don't watch that much TV.
Yeah.
Past month, though, me and Brady watched The Big Short, which was pretty fire in classic finance fashion. It was pretty interesting seeing that, especially too with the way the economy is heading into an inevitable recession. Kind of was like, oh, this is kind of like funny. We're watching this before shit goes down. Favorite movie of all time though is The Social Network. As businessy and lame of me as that sounds, I fucking love that movie.
Big Zuck guy, huh?
I like Justin Timberlake's character the most.
Yeah.
I thought he was sick, and he was such like a douchebag, and I just like thought that was cool.
He was hilarious.
Yeah, he was very good at everything. The quote where it's like, what's cooler than $1 million? $1 billion. I'm like, I'm ready to go, man.
Facts. Hey, the only thing better than an M is a B.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. He's not wrong too. Like factually, he's right.
Yeah. What is the best thing you binged recently?
I'd say I've gone down a YouTube rabbit hole of like national parks, because that's another life goal. I want to visit every national park. I love to hike. I love nature. I think there's so much cool shit out there. So I've been kind of like going down like a national park rabbit hole, kind of going down like a little like like a little state rabbit hole, and like seeing what kind of nature they have in states. So that shit's always entertaining to me. I would say that'd be cool.
Yeah. What is the best book you read recently?
Last book I read is The Bitcoin Standard, but I'm not gonna say that was the best book I read recently. I'm now reading Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It's like a finance book. It honestly isn't the most entertaining. Gucci Mane, like in terms of, cause like I try to read like more some books like that, like kind of like nonfiction. But a nonfiction book that I really liked that was Gucci Mane's autobiography. That shit was one, a very easy read, and two, like I feel like it was just cool to see like the impact he had. And he also touched on mental health too. And it kind of humanized him a little bit, which I thought was really, really cool, because it's easy for us to look at Gucci Mane as this like huge rapper, millions and millions of dollars, like, oh, he's living the best life possible. Like, he wasn't. It took a lot of shit to get there.
Yeah.
So that was a fire book.
Shout out Gucci.
Shout out, hey, 1017, baby.
What's your current job?
Client Operations Associate at River Financial. It's a Bitcoin startup.
Yeah. Do you want kids, and if so, how many?
Yeah, for sure. Want kids. Love kids. Have 2 nephews right now, and it's the best thing ever. Never had a younger sibling, so I always loved kids. Ideal number is 2, but I'd rather have 3. I'd rather have 3 than 1.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite conspiracy theories?
The correlation between the Mormons and the political structure of Utah, because that shit's definitely true. Like the way like the church has the impact on like the political scene of Utah is like fucking fascinating. And I think it's like actually crazy, and that's like a conspiracy theory that I think is like actually true.
Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense. Because right, Utah is like,
dude, Utah's a weird place, man. You ever been?
No, I can't say I have.
I don't think I'd ever want to live there. I want to spend a month out there because there's so much gorgeous nature. Like I've been to Zion and that was incredible, but then there's also Arches, Moab, Bryce Canyon National Park.
Yeah.
Like there's so much cool shit in Utah, but it's a weird place.
I can imagine. I mean, I don't know. Just the stories I've heard is an interesting place, like you said.
1 month in Utah, just traveling around it, and then I'm out of there.
I don't blame you. What's your favorite spot to eat nearby, whether it be sit down or fast food?
Shawarma Bite. We took grad photos there for a reason, brother. You cannot get... I don't come back on campus that often, but I will for Shawarma Bite because it's literally the best place ever.
It's funny because I can't... Not that I can't stand shawarma bite, I just... It's... To me, that's not what shawarma is. Like, go to the only authentic shawarma I can find in America is actually North Market, or in Dublin.
Okay.
They have a Mediterranean place there, and it's fucking delicious.
Could you? I will actually go to that because
I don't know the name of it.
North Market Dublin though, not the one in the Shore North.
Not the one in Short North.
Okay.
No, I need to find out the name of it, and I'll also throw it here, and I'll text it to you as well.
Oh, yeah.
But no, it's fucking delicious.
Oh,
Also, North Market in Dublin, in my opinion, I didn't know about it until like.
I've never heard of it until now.
No, we went, like, remember in Puerto Rico, like how the flights got delayed and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we went during one of the days we were supposed to be there, and just, it's a gem. It's amazing. Never would have known.
Oh yeah, definitely on the bucket list now, dude. That's what's cool about like I don't mean to get back into like the deep stuff, but
Go for it.
being in Columbus, like it's like in college, I feel like it was always I never got to do some cool shit and explore the city because I was too busy going out and being hungover. But now it's like I'm gonna prioritize doing that cool shit and exploring stuff like that, dude. There's so many incredible like small spots in Columbus too.
Yeah.
Like I was very grateful to add that one to the bucket list.
Yeah, dude, I'm 22 and I feel like I still have so much of Columbus to explore. Like, I've lived here 22 years and, like, I feel like I've just seen the fraction.
Dude, there's so much. And I want to shout out, we'll see if he's watching this, and if so, you can text me and say thank you for shouting out. Jamie always gets us to some really authentic, cool places. And every time I go out to eat with them, it's a meal I won't forget. So, and that's what opened my mind. Be like, damn, there's a lot of cool places to eat, a lot of cool things to do. So, yeah.
Yeah. What is something, on the topic, what's something you think is underrated?
See, like, my mind goes strictly to, like, something basketball, like, oh, this team's underrated. I think that staying in is underrated. I think people kind of look down on staying in and just, like, doing nothing, but that shit, and, like, obviously, too, it's, like, go out and be social. Like, I know I hate it a lot on, like, going out and drinking. I do like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
But, like, staying in and is great. I think that's, like, I think that's underrated.
I agree. What's your biggest hot take, or one of them?
So this is the hot take that got me my summer internship at Fanatics, but Russell Westbrook's 2016-2017 MVP season is the greatest single season performance in NBA history and will never be replicated.
Damn, when you started saying that 2016, I thought you were gonna go the other way, but
Nah.
I mean, especially with how Russ is playing right now in the Lakers.
I don't think
Very
we'll
high.
see what, I don't think we'll ever see that replicated. But then also too, in terms of hot takes, like I can like say all my stuff about my beliefs of Bitcoin and how like it will be legal tender in the United States and stuff like that. My job is kind of based on the hot take. So
Yeah.
you know, a lot of hot takes for me. And seed oils are fucking killing you. Like canola oil, soybean oil, like all these things. They're so bad for you. They're so terrible, and they're finding fucking everything. It's impossible to go seed oil free. Cause like
Everything.
yeah, everything has it. You can't really go out to eat. You can't have a social life. But that shit's killing you. Fuck seed oils. That's been a big. That's also one of the things I've been binging. Just like anti-seed oil content. I don't think maybe one day also add this to the list. Like maybe one day I'll go seed oil free when like I don't have to go out to eat.
Yeah.
And like don't have to like like when I'm kind of like have a family and stuff like that. But no, seed oils are bad for you.
That's gonna be a problem because this episode is sponsored by seed oil.
Ah, God, it's sponsored by Pam. I forgot.
What's one of your biggest pet peeves?
Honestly, before this Denver trip, it was sleeping on a couch. I used to fucking hate it. I would rather die than sleep on a couch, but then my friend Brian had a really, really comfortable couch, and it was honestly not that bad to sleep on. But, yeah, we could say that. Not showering for a while. Yeah, I would say those two.
What's your favorite quality about yourself?
My nose piercing.
What's your favorite outfit?
Dude, I love this shirt, actually. This shirt, I would say this shirt, like an oversized tee, and I have these, like, Dickies, like, cargo pants that I got at a thrift store, so it's like they're kind of, like, baggy. I wear these bracelets, I have my rings, have all, like, obviously my earrings in, and then my Nike Blazers. I feel like a skater, even though I'm not. Maybe that will also be on the hobby list, you know?
Yeah. Swear to fucking God. Next question, biggest hobby. How the fuck do you do it?
Biggest hobby or
Yeah.
one hobby that I want to have?
Or biggest hobby, but also, now that you said that, one hobby you want to have.
The biggest hobby right now is definitely working out. I go to the gym a lot. That's definitely probably my biggest hobby. One hobby that I'm looking forward to having, actually not skateboarding, but it's want to get really into skiing. I'm going to Japan in March actually, and we're staying in a ski cabin, so I want to start shredding before then. Also too, like if I move to Colorado, like that's like all they fucking do out there. So I want to get into skiing.
I need to learn how to ski too, so.
It's hard, man. Dude, the first time I went, it was fucking terrible. I forgot, like, it's like you're teaching yourself to walk. And then I was out in Breckenridge, and, like, I was doing Blue Mountains. So when people ask me if I ski, like, I say no, but, like, I have been skiing. I'm not at the point where I'm like, yeah, like, I ski yet. But I want to get to that point.
I gotcha. You're stuck on a deserted island. You can only bring one thing. You can't bring a boat, and if you bring any technology, it doesn't have cell service. What are you bringing?
I'm taking water. One of my biggest pet peeves is also, like, not having easy access to water. It makes me anxious. I fucking love water. Literally liquid gold right here.
No, I agree. Or if you could give me one beverage for the rest of my life, it'd be ice water.
Only beverage you need, man. And no matter any other beverage, I was a fucking ambassador for an energy drink, and like if I had to choose between that and water, I would choose water in a second. If I had access to any other beverage that wasn't water, I would literally all I do would crave water.
That's not very #Yearboutlife of you.
Very not, and that's why I'm not an ambassador anymore. I guess.
Who are your best friends?
I would say my best friends are shout out the boys at the Dosh, Brady, Jamie, Luca, Pete, Hoff, all those fucking guys, PB. I'm blanking Jordan. Again, if I didn't say your name, I still love you, Nico, Sati. All those guys are the core group. In terms, and then I have my friend Alex, my roommate Mike. I'm very grateful because you guys can literally sit here and name people, and like that's not just me like just like counting a bunch of people. It's me being genuinely like you are my best friend. Like I love you. I can't imagine like Shannon. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, love her to death. I'm very grateful to be surrounded by a lot of people that I would consider my best friends. I'm very loose. I'm loose with that term, but like it's because I genuinely have love for all these people, and also throughout my like many like family issues, like my friends have been like a source of family for me. So yeah.
What's something that you have to do every day?
I would say probably talk to my friends. That's like I talked to my friends over everything. Also, best friend Ravleen, she might actually watch this. I love her to death. How can I fucking forget about her? Ravleen, I talk to her and like Alex every day. Talking to my friends every day I have to do. Because if not, I don't know what the fuck I'd do. I can't tell you the last time I haven't talked to like Alex and Ravleen like every single day since like senior year of high school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What are you curious about?
The underlying mechanics of the political system. Because I just was like, it's something I'll never touch.
Mm-hmm.
Something that like I'll never see it, but it's like I know some fucking bullshit happens, and I know there's that. And the ocean. The ocean, such a small percentage of it is been discovered. There's so much shit that goes on in the ocean. The ocean should be a bigger deal because it's like it's affected by the moon and stuff. Like the ocean is crazy.
Yeah.
I think space exploration. I'm so pro that. Yes.
We still have so much more of the Earth to explore.
Yeah, the ocean the ocean should be a bigger deal for sure.
What is your proudest accomplishment?
I would say climbing Angel's Landing in Zion National Park after a Las Vegas bender because I don't know, that was a weird time period. Kind of went on that trip with like a lot of anxiety. Kind of was like a long trip, and then like still was able to get out of my comfort zone and do something that like is on like the life bucket list. You know, out of a group of 8 of us, only 4 went, so I would say that is my proudest accomplishment. So.
Yeah.
Excited for that answer to change later on.
No, it's still an awesome answer though.
It was sick. It was scary, but it was good.
Yeah. What's one thing you want to own?
An aquarium.
Really?
Yeah, I want like a sick ass big aquarium in my living room. I want like hella fish. I want it to be super sick, but like also like in reason. Like I don't want to like disrupt any habitats and stuff. But I think aquariums are sick. The ocean, man. I'm telling you.
That'd be sick. That'd be really cool. I can't wait to come to your house and when you're like, you know, CEO Mongol of Bitcoin and just giant aquarium in the middle of it.
With a couple sharks that like, you know, like are okay with living there. That like didn't get disrupted from like their shark families.
Yeah, I got you. What do you think the price of gas will be by the next time we film?
Oh, given the way inflation's looking, it's in 3 years, dude. Give me like $7.50 in Ohio and like $12 in like I have very little faith in our economy. I have very little faith in the whole Bitcoin thing. It comes from a very pessimistic point of view of the way the world's gonna look like this decade for sure.
Yeah, I hope to fucking God you're wrong.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Where do you want to visit next?
Personal, so there's like objectively, and then like personally. Personally, I want to visit Atlanta next to see Shannon. I think that's next up for me. It's something that can happen in the next month. I want to go out there and see her.
Yeah.
Objectively, probably the Pacific Northwest, like Washington and like Oregon. Would love to do some serious hiking out there because that shit's beautiful. It has a very unique ecosystem because a lot of rainforest and stuff. And number 1 of all time bucket list item was Japan, and the fact that we're getting to go there is like blows my mind still. Second grade me would literally be freaking out, so I can't believe that's real.
That's sick. What's one piece of advice you have for yourself, for the world, for me, whoever?
Everything happens for a reason, and to always prioritize your mental health, and there isn't one right way to do life. So that was kind of like 3, but I feel like we as humans get in the habit of like a structure. It's like, okay, like I need to work at this firm so I can get this job and then make this amount of money, yada yada. There's no right way to fucking do life, you know? And it's like I feel like to some degree, especially in the business school, you're frowned upon the kids that like don't want to like go down that route. But there's no correct way to do life, man. Just gotta go for it. Gotta have life experiences, and if you have, and you know, it's all a learning experience.
Yeah.
I would say also in terms of just for like college kids, I would say your outside the classroom learning is arguably more important than your inside the classroom learning. Like developing yourself as a person, becoming an adult, learning how to foster relationships with people, learning how to become an independent individual. That was the biggest thing I took away from my college degree. So I would say like, obviously, you know, like I kind of like got through school and didn't really learn many tangible things through my finance degree, but I wouldn't trade the college experience for the world, and I think that's such an important thing.
I completely agree. When it comes to, I think that college, like, I mean, obviously, like, you learn a lot, you get your degree, but, like, there's just so much that, like, you learn how to live.
Yeah.
Because I think that the first, like, 18/20-something years is really, like, so different than like what's about to happen for the rest of our life.
It is truly the most surreal time period of your life.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade my college experience for the rest of it, for anything. Because everyone talks about you don't need a college degree to do this, you don't need, unless like, yeah, it's like some degree like you don't. Like I could probably do my job like kind of like without it, you know? It's not like I'm doing like straight finance stuff. But the experience that I had and for it to allow me to become the person I am, I wouldn't trade that for the world.
And then last but not least, top 5.
Basketball, playing / watching, a good night of sleep, music, having that kind of like dopamine triggered by music. Also in the bed when I want to add, or in the sleeping one, sleeping in your own bed. That's like being in your own bed. It's like that's so 3. Physical exercise, because you need that. You just need it, you know?
Yeah.
You need it. Talking to your friends and family. Is that 5?
Yeah, that's 5. Yeah.
Talking to your friends and family. Yeah.
Wow.
And you can dive deep into every single one of them. I put basketball up there pretty high, but I fucking love basketball, man.
Yeah,
That shit makes me happy.
Like I said, on our list. So this is,
Basketball / like just like hobbies in general. You
Yeah.
know, I feel like everyone needs like the thing that they're into. You know,
Yeah.
regardless if it's basketball or knitting or doing backflips. I also want to know how to do a backflip. I want to add that in there. I have not worked towards that at all, but I think it'd be really cool to do a backflip.
Next episode, we'll have a transition between you saying that and you backflipping on camera.
Dude, I'd be
sure.
so happy.
Yeah.
Dude, I also hope I have a couple tattoos.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. I also hope I have my hair left. My family doesn't have good hair genetics, and that's probably my biggest insecurity. So I hope I have my hair too.
No, I'm the same way.
You got a great head of hair though.
This is me on a lot of medication after a couple of years, because I remember January of last year, like, someone made a joke that I had a receding hairline. I looked in the mirror like, oh shit,
dude, fuck that.
No, I'm glad it happened, because I was it got me to tweak and it got me to start this, and like.
What do you do if you don't mind me asking? Because I also do some stuff for my hair.
So I take a milligram of finasteride every day.
I also do that.
Yeah. I always say it wrong, which I think is hilarious, because like in my head it's finasteride, but my mom's a pharmacist, and so you mean finasteride? I'm like, fuck. There's a multivitamin that is specifically for hair growth that I take, and then Rogaine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hit one of those. You know,
I use Hydro something. It's like a little cream. I'm sure it's very similar to Rogaine. I use Keeps, if you've heard of that.
Same.
Dude, yeah. I saw an ad for it on YouTube and I was like, holy fuck. But dude, like that's easily my biggest insecurity. And like, hopefully people are watching this and being like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Like, he has gray hair. But dude, like, even when I got on camera, I'm like fucking worried. I'm like, oh my god, I hope like my hair looks okay. I hope I'm not like balding. Definitely my biggest insecurity. But also too, it's like, just more incentive to get jacked, because then if I'm bald and jacked and have a beard and tattoos, like I can do that. You know?
No, you can definitely pull up the head of hair when you're like when you got a good beard, and especially when you're like ripped bald dudes with beard, or ripped bald dudes / ripped bald dudes with beards are like, what are you gonna say to them?
Dude,
like,
exactly.
Ha, shiny.
Exactly. Like if I could be like the scary guy going to my kids' basketball games, like that'd be sick. I can definitely get behind that. I feel like my voice needs to deepen a little bit too, but that would be sick.
You know, always just hey.
Hey, would you shit my kid?
For some reason, I thought you were gonna say, hey, is this gluten free?
Hey man, hey, who knows in 5 years maybe I'll be allergic to gluten. I have a lot of stomach issues, so. Who knows what my diet will be looking like in 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I feel like I'm gonna figure something out, because the only thing I'm allergic to is pollen, and like there's no way that I can only be allergic to pollen.
How's your stomach, like you have any stomach issues or anything?
I mean, my shits are like, I'm not gonna talk about it on camera. Yeah. I've talked about it with my parents a lot, and it seems like they have like similar things, so it might just be genetics.
Yeah. My family's stomach genetics are so fucked up. Like they're so bad. So that's why I'm anti-seed oils, man. If I could have just like good stomach health, that'd be great. Gut health is mental health. Another quote.
Gut health is mental.
Dude, yeah, your gut. That's where the quote "go with your gut" and it comes from. It's all about it's all about your mindset and shit.
I'm learning a lot right now. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm spewing a lot of stuff at you.
I'm getting a lot of knowledge.
My corner of the internet is not the typical corner of the internet.
Well, it's a good corner from what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Shiv, it was a pleasure having you on the pod.
Thank you, sir.
I'm glad to have you. Long time coming.
This was great. Now I'm honored to be on here. I knew it'd be the perfect time too. After when you texted me, I was still on vacation,
Yeah.
and I was like, I have a lot to talk about, a lot going on in the mind. I do a lot of these podcasts tend to get pretty deep too. Kinda, yeah.
That's the goal. Cause I mean, you start with the chit chatty questions, and then you go deep. Cause I don't know.
I feel like ours was the opposite way. It got deep, and then it got more chit chatty at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a pretty vulnerable dude, so I knew this would be right up my alley.
I mean, I'm always glad when people open their heart up a little bit on camera.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But how do you want to end this thing?
If you're watching this, thank you so much. If I know you in real life, I just want to say thank you, because you've probably done more for me than you know. And yeah, no matter where you are, what you're doing, everything's going to work out, and it's all going to be okay.
What a great positive note to end on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Sweet.
This was lit, bro. Thank you for having me on.
It's fucking awesome, dude. I swear,